Here, and God, we ask your presence be very evident in our midst. God, as we prepare our hearts to go over into Israel and to just receive all that you have for us, God, it's with an excited heart that we look forward to it. I thank you, Lord, for the 3 new folks jumping on the tour this past week. And God, we pray that you just continue to add in your way, in your time. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, guys, so now, welcome everybody who's watching online. Good to see you again. And as I mentioned in the prayer, we picked up a couple of new people that are put their deposit down. I think we have 3 new ones this week, so the numbers just keep growing, so it's pretty exciting. At any rate, in our last Israel 101 course, we were in Jerusalem, looking at some of the aspects of Jerusalem. Now today, day 10 of the tour, we head to the south. And this is always a real fun day because we've been now in Jerusalem for a couple of days, the excitement of Jerusalem. We've been at Yad Vashem, we've seen the Dead Sea Scrolls, we've seen the Israel Museum, we've gone out to Bethlehem, we've been in and around Jerusalem. Today, we head south. So we're going to take the road, we're going to go down to, or we'll go out towards Jericho, and then we head south. On the way down as we're going, we'll swing by a place known as Qumran. Qumran, interesting place. Usually we stop in, and it's always sad to me because the people who are not in 101, those who are not watching online, they miss an opportunity. I try to explain it to them. By now they're getting a little tired of touring. And if you don't know the significance of Qumran, you miss out on something that's you don't want to miss out on, if possible. Qumran is spelled Q-U-M-R-A-N, maybe? Something like that. Qumran. But what's interesting about Qumran is it is the place where they found the Dead Sea Scrolls. And what makes it very interesting, is just north and a little bit to the west of the Dead Sea. But as we go there, they have found this little area where it appears that the Essenes had their encampment. Now, we've talked about the Essenes in the past. The Essenes, E-S-S-N-E-S. The Essenes. They're not mentioned in the Bible. So the Essenes are not mentioned by name in the Bible. Of the 4 groups, the Pharisees, the Sadducees, the Zealots, and the Essenes, the only group of Judaism that is not mentioned in the Word of God. But what's interesting about the Essenes is they are a group that were not into the military resistance of Roman occupation like the Zealots were. They were not trying to make political connections for financial gain like the Sadducees did. They did not jump into their religion as a show and try to gain in the religious sector like the Pharisees did. The Essenes said, basically, Roman occupation, Pharisaism, Sadducees, ain't nobody got time for that. And they just pulled back. And they left Jerusalem. So the Essenes left the place, the center of Judaism, and retreated out to this place just north and a little bit west of the Dead Sea. And they set up camp there, and they believed it was mainly to be a male retreat center, so to speak. Many of the Essenes, but not all of them, were priests or former priests or different religious groups. But they believed that the Pharisees and the priesthood of the day had completely corrupted Judaism the way it was supposed to be. It had become a religion for show. So they pulled away to study the Word of God. As they studied the Word of God and looking at the prophecies, they believed that the Messiah was coming in their lifetime. And guess what? They were right. He did. And they wrote about all this, the fulfillment of prophecies and everything. And as they were doing that, they proved to be right. They wrote on a bunch of scrolls. As time went on, and Rome came in and destroyed Jerusalem, it appears that they hid a number of the scrolls. And as they hid these scrolls, it became a tremendous find just within our lifetime. Remember when that little shepherd boy threw a stone into the cave and heard a click? And he went in to look and he found this vase type of thing with these old scrolls in there. And he went and showed it to the archaeologists there in Israel, and they found them, and they found a number of these caves with a bunch of these scrolls. You can't even put a price tag on that find. But in there they found a bunch of these scrolls that were written before the birth of Jesus. They found the book of Isaiah written, remember, before the birth of Jesus. Very significant, as we talked about in our last 101 class, because the prophecies in Isaiah that were so distinct and so exact in prophesying the coming of Jesus, the coming of the Messiah, literally fulfilled by Jesus. Here we had evidence that these were in existence before he was born. And many of the liberals who said, well, obviously they're so exact, they must have been written after Jesus was born. They found scrolls dated prior to his birth, and it was a huge thing, huge thing. Come on in, Miss Monica. How about up front here, or... Yeah,
I'm 26, so if I
Sit
run
back.
out.
Oh, Monica might run out. Okay. You get better. Thanks for being here, girl. So, that's Qumran. But when we go to Qumran, we'll see some of the caves. We'll point, those are the caves. We can't really go up into the caves. But we can go to where the Essene village was. And you'll get to see, we did not do that on our last trip, so there's new stuff there. But we'll see the Essene encampment and some of the ruins of an Essene camp there in Qumran. It's interesting for us because there appears to have been a young boy growing up and seeing the liberalization of the priesthood in Judaism during the time as Jesus was growing up. His dad was a priest, and he just pulled away from it. He said, you know, I don't like this. And he went and joined the Essenes, it appears. And he lived out there with the Essenes, and as he's living out there, this is Roman and Phoebe. Come up here a quick second. Come up here a quick second. Howard, stand up real quick. Turn on a look. Kathy, you stand up too. These are some of the new folks that are coming, checking this out now. Just so you know, say hi. This is Kathy. That's Howard, Roman, and Phoebe. Say hi, guys, the camera up there.
Hey, hello.
Have a seat. Glad you're here. Glad you're here. See some of the new folks you might see. Who knows? It'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. So, we're looking at Qumran. So this the son of this priest, seeing the liberalism in Judaism, he said, I'm out of here. I gotta, Linda, have I shown you on the camera before? Come on. We got another one. We got some of the new folks. Come here, Linda. Get up here. We gotta see Linda too. Just dawned on me.
Remember myself.
And this is Linda. Do not call her Helen. Both have 5 letters, but it's not Helen. It's Linda. This is Linda right here. So glad you're Helen. Okay, that's good. So, but at any rate, this son of this priest, seeing the liberalism in Judaism, says, I'm pulling out. Dad, forget it, I'm done. And he walks away from the Jewish priesthood and he goes down to Qumran. We're going to go to this village of Qumran. It's just ruins now. It's just rocks. It's less than Bet Shean for sure. It's less than Chorazin. It's more like the synagogue in Capernaum. It's just, you can see the outline of it. But it's a little rural encampment. But he went and he lived there, it appears, and he was part of the ones that were writing all these Dead Sea Scrolls and writing all this stuff. And then something interesting happens to him. He goes out into the wilderness and he starts to tell people. He says, repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. And he starts to baptize people there in the Jordan River, just north of the Dead Sea, right near this village of Qumran. And people start coming out of Jerusalem listening to this priest who has said goodbye to the Levitical priesthood. And he now stands up and he says, Messiah is coming. And he starts to baptize people. We know him as John the Baptist. So John the Baptist was part of the Qumran community of the Essenes, it appears, who was baptizing in this area. That's where we're going to be as we leave Jerusalem on day 10. And we go to Qumran. So it's pretty cool. Is it working, James?
Yeah, I can't turn it, so kind of
I'll
stay where you're at.
Stay right here. It's not turning, so I'm going to stay here. Okay. So it's just one of these interesting things. So we'll swing by Qumran. We'll see Qumran. And again, I want to reiterate. It's amazing for me to pay the amount of money we're paying to go to Israel and to pull up in the bus alongside Qumran and say, I'll just wait. You guys go look. Don't do that. Get out of the bus. It's okay. It's going to be in the morning. It's not going to be hot. It's going to be maybe 90 degrees. And we're going to just walk on over there, and you're going to be standing at the place where John the Baptist and the rest of the folks of the Essenes wrote the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Wow.
You're going to be there. You're going to look around and say, this is where John was. When he left here, he went out and started eating the locust pods. and the honey. He's out there, he's dressed in his little outfit, remember, the little fur, just like Elijah, and he's out there taking that position of Elijah, announcing the coming of the Messiah. It is of this man that Jesus said, there's been no man greater than him. So we're going to be at his home area for a while. He leaves the city and comes out to Qumran. It's pretty cool. So get on the bus. Go look at Qumran. It's worth it. Now, if we stop at Qumran at the end of the day instead of the beginning of the day, and you want to stay in the bus, I don't blame you. Because this is our most excruciating day. This is the day that you can be the most tired. This is the day that I'm going to have. It's interesting because this trip, our last trip, was a very young. Average age, I'm going to guess, was 35 years old maybe of our tour. Taking Connie and I out. This time I'm going to say the average age of this tour is going to be probably 65. So we're going to have people a little bit older on this trip. So for those of you a little bit older, yay! Because I've taken people older. Just because you're really pretty, okay? You're just a pretty woman. What can I say? A pretty woman sitting in the front row. And, but she said, "Why are you looking at me?" I don't know. But just know that this is going to be some. It's going to be a little bit different tour this time. Not to freak out, because we're going to make certain. On a couple of tours, I had people that were hurt. One sprained an ankle I told you about, and I carried her literally for 8 days on my shoulders, but that's back when I was in shape. I just put her on, and I put her, she's about your size, Kathy. I just put her on my shoulders, and I just carried her all over Jerusalem, carried up mountains, went all over the place. Just had her, we got to know each other really well. I just carried her around, full service pastor. I won't be doing that this time. That's not going to happen, so don't sprain an ankle. But we're going to take it very easy and slow. It's not going to be anything excruciating. This will be the only day that I'm going to tell you, this is the day, please listen to me, don't try and tough this one out, because as we go down south, it gets really hot. On top of Masada, it can easily be 120 degrees. So it can be really hot, and there's no shade. So there is no shade. You're on top of it's like on top of the desk. You're just up on this little mesa, and it's hot. It is hot. So that's the only day that, I'm going to make certain that we don't walk up there anymore. We take a cable car up. I'm not going to let you walk down. If you're over like 60, you're not walking down. Just calm yourself, because we've got a lot more besides that. So it's a real active day. So Qumran, I'm going to try and hit Qumran on the way down, so you can enjoy Qumran. On the way back, you'll probably sleep through it, to be honest with you. And that's typically what happens, so it's not so good. Hey, Miss Rachel.
Hey.
How about right up front here in the corner? That'd be awesome. Say hi to the camera as you go by.
Hello.
There's Rachel. See you there. So, but that'll be Qumran. So I've been stalling. We've covered Qumran. We covered Qumran a little bit last week, so now we're all here. We're good to go. So Qumran. So Qumran, from there we hop on the bus, Lord willing, and we're going to head south. Now, more likely than not, we'll be going to Masada next. The sooner we get to Masada, the better. Qumran is a 10-minute stop. It's just, there it is. We look around and we go. We want to get Masada before it gets too hot. Masada is, all I can tell you, amazing. That's all I'm going to tell you. It's absolutely amazing. Masada is amazing. So you want to go to Masada. For sure you want to go to Masada. Everything is aimed at Masada. That is good this day. That is the highlight. Well, there's 4 highlights of this day. This is an awesome day that this is. So I want to give some background on Masada from a Christian perspective and a little bit of background from a Jewish perspective. And then today as well. Today is really important for the military, the Israeli military. Whenever they're brought into the military, their induction ceremonies are always at Masada. So at Masada they get a Bible and a machine gun. And both of those stay with them the entire time they're on active duty. And it takes place at Masada. The family comes up, it's a big deal after they go through basic and then they're inducted into the military. It's at Masada. We'll see why as we go through. Masada is tremendously significant for the Jew. For us as Christians, we look at it differently, but I don't want us to bring it up. We're with Jewish people on this tour. Our tour guides are Jewish and not Christian. So it's not a time to bring this up. I teach it to you now, so you know it, and just keep it in the back of your head. On one tour, we had someone who was in the hospital, and I stayed with him in the hospital. I've been to Masada many times, and you'll hear me mention Pastor Mark a lot. I had him bring him down to Masada. And then one of my guys, who's also on my staff, when he got to Masada, so I want to teach a quick Bible study on Masada, and he gave this study I'm going to give you this morning, and it was very offensive to our Jewish tour guide. Don't do that. We're here to not offend folks, that's not why we're there. But it's, Masada to the Jew is a tremendous reminder that they will never, ever, ever be put in a place where they don't strike first. And that's where with America and Israel, even today with Iran and all, they're so concerned because they know Israel will not sit back and wait. And they know as soon as they see go, they're going to go. And Masada is embedded in them. That's a decision they've made as a nation. So we'll hit that a little bit. Masada is a mesa. It's not very big. If we fly over them, or we take a, if we take a hot air balloon and we just go up over Masada, we're looking at Masada. If we were looking at it from the north, there's a wind from the north blowing us towards Masada. As we're getting closer to Masada, we would see blue, we would see the Dead Sea. The Dead Sea would be going, we're going south now, even though that's the top of the board. There's the Dead Sea. We're in this balloon. Jerusalem is over here. We're in this hot air balloon. And here's Qumran. The ruins of Qumran would be somewhere in here. There's Qumran. And we're taking this road. And all of a sudden, looking on this hot air balloon, there would be Masada.
Wow.
Looking at it from the top. So we look at it from the top, it's like a mesa. Think of it like a mesa. It's a beautiful mesa. Masada was an interesting place. Over to the west over here, we're going south in this hot air balloon. Over here, you're going to see the tops of mountains. And these are the Judean hills over here. But what makes it interesting with the Judean hills is even though this is all arid and desert, moisture hits here because it goes up, they get rain in these mountains. And there is underground flows of water that go right underneath Masada. And what makes it really interesting is that Herod, the builder Herod, he said, I'm going to build my retreat center at Masada. He built all over the nation. As we go around Israel, we're going to spend one whole day looking at Herod the Great, the builder Herod the Great, because he's everywhere. We're going to show you how you can recognize buildings. He had distinguishing marks and everything that he built, so you could always tell us Herodian and everything. We're going to look at all that. This is just an overview of what we're doing now. But as we go in this hot air balloon and we look at Masada, we're going to notice that this part of the mesa juts out like this. And he had his palace here, and he had all this stuff, saunas, beautiful, beautiful stuccoed walls. These saunas, you can see how the saunas, Roman, you will not even believe it. You will not even believe what's going on here. Because you're going to see how the sauna works. I've had architects go, contractors go, they look at it and they go, this is 2,000 years ago they were doing this. And it's unbelievable because they have hot and wet saunas and you see it that they're still up there. You see how they put these styles, these clay discs stacked on top of each other. And then they would put this floor over it and pump in water and heat the water up and the steam would come up and they had steam rooms and all this beautiful plastered walls and designs and marble flooring and just, it's like, serious, out here in the desert, it's beautiful, beautiful. These waters that are coming from the Judean hills, they have these huge cisterns. Our entire church building would fit into some of the cisterns. They're huge. And they filled up with these underground water. So you've got all desert here, 100% desert. Hot, desert. But up on the mesa, up on Masada, you've got water, you've got saunas, you have granaries full of food. It's like nice, really nice. 70 AD comes, Jerusalem is destroyed, remember? The Sicarii, part of the zealot group, the Sicarii mean the assassins, the dagger bearers. They would slip into the Roman elite and they'd take out their knives from their ropes and they'd stab, assassinate people, put it back in and just disappear into the crowd, the Sicarii. Jerusalem was destroyed. The Sicarii are not in Jerusalem at the time. They take their wives and children and they run to the south. Rome has destroyed Jerusalem now. So their capital's gone. They run down to Masada and they go up on top of Masada. They live up here in Masada. From the top of Masada you can see the Dead Sea, you can see the Judean hills, you see the desert. Now as we take this hot air balloon over Masada and we look down, you see something very interesting. You see this. These are all stones. You know what that is? That's the ruins of the Roman siege laid out in Masada. Because the Sicarii are up here, word gets to Rome that the Sicarii group, the militant group, is holding out in Herod's palace out here at Masada. And they send the legion down here. And they say, nobody resists Rome. Kill them. Well, when you look at this from the top, we don't realize how high this is. This is a high mesa. And it's steep. And you'll see it when we get there. It's very steep. And there's one little path on this side that goes up. That's it. And the Sicarii had all the water in the world, all the food in the world. They had everything going for them. And they had these boulders all around here. So as soon as the Roman legion would even think of coming up this little snake path here, they couldn't do it. So Rome circles them and says, okay, we'll wait them out. The Sicarii go to their cistern of water being filled continually, take buckets of water. You guys thirsty down there? And they dump water over the edge at them, just taunting them. These legionnaires are upset. They are vicious, angry, frustrated. Rome has got to haul their water in from this body of water you can't drink. So they either got to go to Engedi over here and get a little bit from there, or bring all their supplies in a long ways away out in the middle of nowhere because of these guys up here. 4 years this goes on. They are steamed. They are steamed. What can we do? They can outwait us. What are we going to do? And one of them got the idea, wait a minute. If we go up, they're going to kill us. But we've captured a lot of Jews. Let's bring the Jews over here. This seems to be the easiest place here. Let's remove this encampment. And let's just start stacking stuff up here. Bring our engineers in, and let's build a ramp that comes in from the west. We still see that ramp today. They said, but they'll just throw the rocks down, they'll kill our workers. No, we're going to bring Jews in there. If they want to kill the Jews, we'll bring more Jews in. The Sicarii on top look and say, we can't kill our own people. And this thing starts to be built. And the Sicarii and the family say, oh man, oh man. They know that when the Romans breach this and come up, they're going to take out years of frustration. They're going to kill all the men. They're going to rape all the wives. And they'll either kill or sell their children into slavery. They know it's going to be bad. They get together, they can see this ramp's getting closer and closer and closer and closer and closer, and they make a decision. They say, you know, from now on, what we're going to do is we're going to prepare ourselves to die. But we're not going to let the Romans kill us. We're Sicarii. We're assassins. It's the night. We know they're going to breach it. You can see they're going to breach it tomorrow. Tonight, go down later, go to bed with your families, with your wives, your children, go to sleep. They drew sticks. If I remember right, it was 7 sticks, seven of the men. A couple hundred people up here. They lay down with their families, they went to sleep, holding their families. 2 in the morning or so, these 7 men went from room to room up here, slit the throats of all the people, just killed the kids, the wives, and the Sicarii sleeping with his wife. They just killed them. Went to the next one, killed them. The next one killed them. Finally, there was just the 7 left with their families. Drew sticks, and 2 were chosen. The other 5 went with their families, lay down and went to sleep with their families. These 2 gave a little more time, went in and slit theirs. Then the 2 left, killed each other. How do we know that? A couple of the people, a couple of the women, slipped away to the granaries. When Rome came on there, they were found. They didn't kill them. They brought them back and they got an eyewitness account of what happened. Rome comes up the next morning, they're ready. They are ready. They are going to rape the women. They're going to kill these guys that have done this to them. They're going to plunder the place. They got there and they found the entire Masada dead. Jerusalem's never forgotten, or Israel's never forgotten it. Hence their military strategy now is we will never allow ourselves to be put in a position where we won't strike first. And that's part of their military now. When their young people are brought into the Israeli military, they're inducted up here. Like I said, with their machine gun and their Bible. The families go up to Masada, and they have this little induction ceremony in Masada. Every Jew knows the story of Masada. And they say, never again. Never again. So this is Masada. To the Jew, it is huge. From a Christian perspective, we mentioned it in one of our teaching Sunday morning, I think, or maybe it was the Matthew study. I think it was Matthew, maybe it was Thursday night. But what's interesting is when this took place. Because if we look at Masada now, we take our balloon, here's our little balloon going, right? We got this little balloon. There we are. Now we're going to land it right here. Now we land it. As we land it, we look to the west. This is what we see. There's this part that sticks out right here. You see the snake path going up. A bus alongside of it is about like that. So it's a big old mesa. It's a big mesa. But that's what you see. But what's interesting about this is we go back now to Jesus being arrested. And Pilate says, I find nothing wrong with him. Crowd, what do you want me to do? I find nothing. They say, crucify him, crucify him. And he says, well, I'm going to wash my hands of this. And they yell, and they say, well, his blood be on us and our children. And they say that on Passover. Now, most people believe it's either 32 or 33 AD. So Passover 32 or 33 AD. I tend to believe 33 AD, but wherever it is. It's on Passover. That's when they say, his blood be on us and our children. Now we fast forward one generation. In Judaism, a generation is 40 years. So it's interesting, if we go 40 years into the future from 33 AD, that equals 73 AD. And wouldn't it be interesting to see what is going on Passover 73 AD in Israel? Well, we go to Jerusalem, the city's been destroyed for 3 years. It's gone. But we go up to Masada. And of all things, on Passover 73 AD, that's the day with Zechariah going and slitting the throats of their wives and their children. Which is just interesting. Because when we look at Masada, it looks like the ancient altar that they had. And we'll see as we go into Galilee, we'll see some of the old altars where there's no fancy stones. God says if you're going to do an altar in the Old Testament, make it of uncarved stones, just a plain altar. Masada's not fancy. But as we look at this huge altar, if you will, on top of it, one generation after Israel rejects Jesus and says, his blood be on us and our children, to the exact day, on top of this huge altar, they are offering the blood of themselves and their children. That's just an interesting thing. Maybe it's a coincidence. I don't think so, but maybe it is. So we don't bring that up there. You'll say, what's you get for rejecting Jesus? Don't do that. But it's an interesting thing. When someone blatantly rejects Christ and puts it on to their family, don't do that. So Masada. So our stop in Masada is interesting. When we go to Masada, the things that they show us up there, which are very interesting, but from the Jewish perspective, I don't teach this up on Masada because I don't want to offend our tour guide. I teach it here in Israel 101. You guys know it. You go, oh, this is Masada. That's right. You'll remember. You'll remember this. Don't bring it up and say, is it true that 400 or 40 years, or if you have 40 years ago, you got, don't do that to them. Don't do that to them. But when we go there, they're going to show us a lot of Herodian stuff. And it's interesting as all get out. Like I said, from the saunas to the palaces to the ruins to the granaries. It's an amazing thing. It's the hottest of our days. This is the hot day. This is the day you wear a hat, cover up, wear white, bring lots of water. We used to walk it up. That was just crazy. Now they have a cable car. Yes, we love cable cars. And we just go on up there, you get off, and it's way better. You take the cable car down. If you want to walk down, you can. You can. But boy, you'll be tired. Did we walk down? Yeah,
Some people did.
Yeah, that was me. If some of you do, I usually go with you, but I don't know if I will. Thank you. But if some do, I probably will. You did, yeah. So usually you do, but don't. It's not necessary. It's just walking down a path. I mean, It's not like the view is any better. You get a great view from the cable car. And you're going to feel much better. So, Masada. Any questions on Masada? Kind of have it? Kind of have it? Okay, well, there's tons of stuff on Masada. I would encourage you, if you want to have a really fun time, there's a movie called Masada. There's a lot of literary license with it, but you get a feel. You get a feel for it. Just don't confuse the movie with the fact. But realize it's a movie about sort of like the Alamo with John Wayne, I think was in it, whoever it was. You know, there's going to be, those in the church history, the bias of the historian, there's going to be bias in Masada. But you get an idea, a flavor for it. I'd encourage you to check it out. Okay, any questions on Masada? Hot day, fun day. That'll be done by the morning usually. So the morning will be done with Masada. Then it depends on how we're all doing. We're going to go 1 or 2 more places. One place will be to the Dead Sea. I want to talk about the Dead Sea because the Dead Sea is just fun. It's just crazy. If you don't swim, bring a swimsuit to Israel. You want to be in the Dead Sea if you don't swim. If you do swim, you'll have one. But this is the day we say, we're going to the Dead Sea, bring your swimsuits. It is the most phenomenal thing. If you've ever been to the Great Salt Lake up in Utah, you know, you float in that Great Salt Lake. The Dead Sea is way more concentrated than the one up in Salt Lake. So you go there. This is very little biblical significance. This is just, okay, we just got done seeing Masada. We've seen Qumran. Before we go to Engedi, let's go to the Dead Sea. You go in the Dead Sea, and you got people from all over the world in the Dead Sea. They go to the Dead Sea for skin diseases. They go to the Dead Sea for whatever they got. And it's the Dead Sea. The Dead Sea is an interesting body of water in that it is a picture. Now we're going to switch it, and we're not going to be looking to the south now. We're going to look like a regular map. We have the Sea of Galilee up here, right? The Jordan River, where this is a break. And we come to the Dead Sea. The Dead Sea today looks like this kind of. It's split right here. So there's the northern and the southern Dead Sea. That kind of surprises you when you see it, because this is Israel's major source of income, is the Dead Sea. There are so many minerals in here, and it's such a high concentration. They're draining the water and mining all these minerals and exporting all over the world. And it's amazing the amount of money, more money there than even in tourism. This is their #1 source of income. So the Dead Sea is. But as we look at the Dead Sea today, now Masada is over about here. Okay, so there's Masada. Qumran's over in here, just so you kind of see how we're looking at things. So as we look at this Dead Sea, the fresh water comes in. There's 3 sources to the Jordan River. There's 3 different places, and they all feed into the Sea of Galilee. Fresh water, beautiful water. Then the Jordan River flows to the south, hits the Dead Sea. 3 rivers flow into the Sea of Galilee, so to speak. They kind of join up here, but they come in as one. Fresh water in, fresh water out. When we're up in the Galilee, we've already covered that. When we're up in the Galilee, full of fish. You go swimming in the Galilee, which you'll be able to for sure. You'll have fish nibbling at I have real hairy legs, and the fish are there chewing on my hair and my legs. And it's just full of fish. We'll have a fish dinner we talked about, remember? You got these big old fish that are only found here and in South Africa. And we have this great fish dinner, teeming with life. This thing is full of life. Fresh water in, fresh water out. The fresh water flows into this salt sea. In Jesus' day, it was one body of water. It flows into this. Nothing lives in here, nothing. It is full of minerals. It is so dense that when you go in, your body tries to dilute it through osmosis. You know about osmosis? How if there's a greater concentration of whatever is in this thing, and if it's in your body and it's greater than what your body fluids are, then your body will try and dilute it, and it sucks moisture out of you. Dead Sea will do that to you. So if you stay in the Dead Sea for more than 15 minutes, you know, your fingers get wrinkled. Your whole body gets like that times 20. It's weird. It is weird stuff. But it's just water. You look at it, it's just like water. You taste it. You've tasted ocean. Salty. This is not salty. This is bitter. It's got so much chemicals in here. They're all natural. But it's just like, what? What? If you have a cut, woo, burn city. It'll burn you nicely. But it'll heal a little bit because it's going to throw a bunch of stuff in there on you. But people have mud packs all around the Dead Sea. It's just fun. But it's fun to go in and experience it. because as you go in the water, you can literally sit down in the water and your feet just pop up, your body pops up. You can take a newspaper and just sit and read the papers, sitting in 5 foot of water, and you don't go under. It's weird. So it's an experience you should do. By all means, do it. Don't get it in your eyes, it burns bad, don't do that. But just sit down there and go, this is crazy. And you sit in there for 10, 15 minutes and get out, rinse. There's a little pool there. We usually go to this place, a little swimming pool. You can go in the pool for a while and get refreshed. And it's just a fun experience. It's something to do. It just kind of breaks a very hot day. From there, we have the Dead Sea. We have a lunch there at the Dead Sea. It's usually a box lunch. It's nothing great. It's one of our least good meals of all our meals. It's usually just a sandwich, some chips, a pickle, some vegetables, some fruit, something to drink, and we're going home for a real big meal. So we eat big in the morning, we eat big at night, and this one just kind of ties us over because we're out in the middle of nowhere. From here, we go to a place called En-Gedi. Now, En-Gedi, E-I-N-G-E-D-I, En-Gedi. It means, this means spring, and this means kid, or a baby goat. So it's the spring of the little goat, En-Gedi. It's interesting because it's an oasis in the middle of all this craziness around here. It's this beautiful, beautiful area. As we start walking in, you're going to see a lot of these sheep with the big horns and the ibex, it's called, or ibex, you're going to see that. And you're going to see a lot of stuff. And it's just like, this is pretty nice in the middle of nowhere. This is nice. But as we start walking and we look, you're going to see all these caves up here. Lots of caves. And you go, wait a minute, En-Gedi. I've heard of that in the Bible, En-Gedi. En-Gedi. Caves. And usually, if you've been in Israel 101 now, you'll remember it. But a lot of people, now it's going to be different because they're online, so people can get caught up on this. But if they don't, they'll come up and say, isn't En-Gedi in the Bible? It is in the Bible. And we'll have a little Bible study there. And we'll talk about En-Gedi. Because if you remember, when Saul was king, he was trying to kill David. And David ran out into the wilderness of Judea, it says. And he camped out, he hid it at En-Gedi. This is where David hid from Saul. And remember when Saul came, and they saw Saul with all of his army coming after David and his men? David and his men hid in the cave, remember? And they go deep into the cave, and they're in the cave, and of all those caves, Saul says, that chili last night's not agreeing with me. I need to go into the cave here and just relieve myself. So he goes into the cave, and as he squats down, going, ugh, David and his men are in the back parts of that same cave. And they go, David, look what God did to your enemy. Look what he did. He brought him right into that cave. You literally caught him with his pants down. David, take him out, David. Oh man, David, do it. David goes up. He says, I can't do that. That's God's anointed. But he cuts a little bit of his robe. Now the robe was a symbol of authority. So he takes a little bit of Saul's authority. Saul gets up, doesn't have a clue. Steps out of the cave, goes down to his men. Okay, let's go. David comes out of that same cave. Hey, Saul. By lifting up that, he's not just saying, look how close I got. He's saying, look what I just got. I could have all the authority. I got you. Saul looks and goes, oh, David, I am so bad. Oh. I'm going home. Going back home, David, I'm done. That was it. That takes place at En-Gedi. We're walking, we see all those caves. So we know this is where Saul and his men were. I'm telling you, when you open up your Bible and you read that, talking about telling a story, there it is. It's like, okay, let me tell you about that story. You walk there, it is green. It's all desert, but this is an oasis. And you start walking. And this is a long walk. And for those of you that are going to struggle with long walks, this is a walk you want to do if possible. Not all the way. I'll show you how far to go and then just sit and wait. It's beautiful. It's an oasis. It's beautiful. There's this water running down from this rock, and it's just cool. And it's just stinking nice, because you're in the desert, it's been hot. We've been in the Dead Sea, you get out, you're all white. You rinse off, you get in the pool, it's kind of refreshing, you have a lunch, and now you're in this oasis. You go, I don't know what the temperature is, but right here it seems like it's about 80. It's like perfect. It's just nice. And it's green. And it's animals all over the place. And it's beautiful. You go, this is where David hung out? This is where David wrote the Psalms? this is nice. As the deer panteth for the water. You'll see the deer coming up to the pools and drinking. Whoa! What? Are you kidding me? It's just like, you can't even believe it. You can't even believe it. So we'll find this one little pool in this little place, and it's nice, and we'll sit there, and people are taking pictures. You know, this is amazing. And that's what I'm going to say. Okay, we're going to go further on up. It's going to be a little bit more treacherous. If you can make it, it's worth it, but it's not worth a sprained ankle. It's not worth petering out because the next day is unbelievable. The problem with this tour is every day gets better. It's built in such a way, after the first day of touring, you go, well, that's it. They did it all the first day, it won't get better than this. The next day is better. And the next day is, would that be a true statement, Sandy? Yes. It's true. The way it's built, it gets better every day. So as good as this day is going to be, and this day is going to blow you completely away. It's going to be just like, okay, that's it. If I go home now, I'm good. Tomorrow on the tour is even better. If that's possible, it is possible. It's crazy. But on this one, I'm going to have somebody just stay there. I said, you come if you want to, but it's okay. I'll tell you what it is. But as we go further up, it's a little pathway. And it's a little bit more uphill. And as you're walking up this hill, and you walk a little bit on some rocks, and you'll hear kids playing, and you'll hear noises and everything. And all of a sudden, here's this waterfall. And it's a big old waterfall. It's not a rushing waterfall. It's a trickling waterfall. It's probably 3 to 4 stories high into this pool. And it's just like, whoa, this is En-Gedi. This is where David hung out. It's been here for thousands of years. This is where David and his mighty men would have come for their water sources. This is where they'd have camped out at night. This is where they hid in the caves when the watchman said, we can see them coming. You can see why En-Gedi's a great place. It's an oasis, it's all flat, and you can see people coming. So they jumped into the caves. And it just plays out for you very clearly, and it's unbelievable. En-Gedi. So this part of En-Gedi is just refreshing, it's fun, it's sweet, it's cool, it's beautiful. You'll never see the Psalms the same again. David running from Saul will be embedded in your mind forever. It is sweet. From there we get back in the bus, and we head back to Jerusalem. It's about an hour trip back to Jerusalem. If we did not stop at Qumran on the way down, if we're saying it's going to be hot, you know, sometimes it can be like 120 degrees by noon on Masada. We'll get up early in the morning like we always do, and we'll just drive right to Masada and get up there before it gets really hot. And then that's what we'll do. If that's the case, then we'll hit Qumran at the end. And that's where I want to encourage you, if at all possible, get out of the bus. You're going to be hot. You're going to be really tired. You say, whatever. No, just do it. Just walk down those steps one more last time that day. Walk over there and realize, man, this is where John the Baptist was. This is where he would go preach to the crowds and come back home. This is where the Dead Sea Scrolls, which convince me that Jesus fulfilled those prophecies, it is not bogus. We have physical proof that the scriptures were written before Jesus came, prophesying of him. That's huge. This is where they were found. This is where they're written. Go check it out. It's worth checking out. That's Qumran. Then we go back home that day. We get back. We have a wonderful supper. Wonderful supper. And then you are free in Jerusalem like you always are in the evenings. And you'll start meeting people. And you're going to start jumping in taxis together. And it's crazy because you'll go knowing people. And by the time by 10 days of touring, you've made friends with everybody and people you don't even know yet. And you just jump in taxis to anybody. We got room, get in here. And they just, okay, I'll go. You just jump in. You're just friends with everybody. We jump in taxis and we go all over Jerusalem for their nightlife. Their nightlife in Jerusalem is unbelievable. It's fantastic. And I would strongly encourage you to check it out. Whether we're going to the old city of Jerusalem, the people of Israel know how to party. They party. What's fun is they party without booze, without drugs. There's no raping. There's no robbery. They're happy. And they party. God has brought them into their land. So I feel perfectly safe bringing my daughters, my wife, and turning them free into crowds of thousands and say, have fun. Have fun. Meet you back here. You're completely safe. It's weird. You're just safe. And do it. Go have fun. You're going to see a lot of dancing, a lot of singing, a lot of music. music, a lot of shopping, a lot of bartering. If you like to barter, all the old city, we talked about it before, we got a few new people here. If you like to barter, that's the place to go. That is the place to go. Our middle daughter, Christy, has been with me on every tour that I've led in Israel. So she went when she was 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, and 18, and now she went this last time. So she just goes all the time. And she grew up as a little girl, and then more and more and more and more, she loves the bartering aspect of it. She loves it. I'm embarrassed sometimes, but she does it. Hey, don't do that to pay him. No, Dad, I'm going to get cheaper. Oh, man, girl. But she loves it. She loves it. So if you like that kind of stuff, it's just fun. You go into, you don't do it with the Jews won't barter. But the Arab market, oh man, it's fun. It is fun. And you're not going to get good quality stuff. You're not. If you want good quality stuff, buy it in the Jewish market. But if you want to have some fun, and they're wonderful. They're wonderful people. Don't listen to the media. Not every Arab is out to kill Americans. These are nice people. Many of them are Christian people. Many of them are. But they're fun. And you go into their stores, and they're thrilled to have you. They'll spot you as an American right away, I guarantee you. And they say, oh, American, where are you from? And they know New York, and they know. So usually I say Dallas, and they get that. If you say Albuquerque, those. They don't have, yeah, what that is right. And if you say New Mexico, they really don't get New Mexico. New Mexico and Mexico to them is one and the same. So don't get into all that. Just tell them from America, say Dallas. Who cares? I mean, who cares? It's Dallas. They understand. They get Dallas. I'm from Dallas. Oh, okay, Dallas, bang, bang. Yeah, Dallas, okay. And that's just, but that's what it is. But they'll talk with you, and then they'll just have this shirt. Maybe it's a T-shirt. And it'll have Coca-Cola. It's a Coca-Cola T-shirt written in Arabic. They're very popular. Red with Arabic Coca-Cola, it says. And it'll be priced maybe for 10 shekels, which is maybe $5, let's say. You go, 10 shekels? I give you 3. Oh man, they're going to get very, very, very exaggerated on you. They're going to tell you that you're taking money from their baby's mouth for $3. It cost him $7 or 7 shekels. What are you doing? You know, the whole thing. And you smile and you go back and forth. And maybe you get up to where you say, I'll give you 4. And he says, I got 7. That's the best I can do. Or 6. He'll say, 6 is it. And you say, no, 4. Just turn and walk away. Just walk out. And then just walk away. But it's interesting as you walk away, you'll go to 3 other stores, and all of a sudden you'll say, Mister! You know, there he is. He's a block down the road, down the path. There he is. 5 shekels. 5 shekels, mister. Say, no. 4. 4! 4! Oh, you know, make all these sounds. And he'll get, oh man, you know, you're stealing from me. You're killing me. Oh, very loud, very loud. You're killing me. 4, 5 shekels. Oh, you're killing me. What is that to you? What is a shekel to you? It's nothing to you. For me, it's everything. Give me 5 shekels. I'll give you 2 for 10. No. I want 1 for 4. Oh, he'll walk away. And you can be down there for an hour later, and he'll see you. And there's like hundreds of people. He'll see you. Mister. And it's not that I want the shirt. I just enjoy this. And he enjoys it. If you go in and pay him 10 shekels, he has no respect for you. You take him the fun out of this whole day. So don't give him. It's not about the money. It's just part of it. It's fun. Enjoy. Now you'll buy it for 4 shekels. He said, I got a deal. I got it for 4 shekels. The next day you'll be somewhere and you'll see him on sale for 2 shekels each. You know, it's like, oh man, are you serious? This is what it is. You take it home, you wash it once, and it's gone. It's just, you know, it's just what it is. But it's been the best 4 shekels you ever spent. You know, it's just fun. And that's what that's about. Ice cream down there, a lot of lamb. The food is fantastic. Oh, it's so good, and it's just fun. So it's a fun night. That's the place to go out at night. So when you hear we're going, I'll make sure you all know about it, believe me. But I say, okay, we're all going to load up in taxis, and we're going to head out. Don't go on your own. Wait until you fill up, and then go on your own. But get everybody on the taxi. Don't just say, oh, come on, Rachel, you're not going to taxi, let's go. No, we'll put Kathy in there, we'll put Howard in there, we'll put everybody in there. So, guys, we're going to meet. You'll know where it is. We'll say at the Joppa Gate. We're going to meet at the Joppa Gate. When we get down there, and taxis take off. They drive just like typical taxi drivers, just like, oh, hang on, here we go. We get together and we have fun. So just have fun, enjoy. Another day we're going to go to a street called Ben Yehuda. Ben Yehuda. Now Ben Yehuda is a very interesting figure in Israeli history because he's the one that brought Hebrew back to modern day Israel. So when we hear the Jews speaking Hebrew, that's pretty much the Hebrew of the Old Testament. It's pretty amazing because it wasn't used for so long. They used Yiddish. Ben Yehuda brought Hebrew back, and then they made a decision to teach it in the schools. So it has not gone through like our Old English, the way they spoke even 300 years ago, like Shakespearean English in England, how we speak completely different, or in Spain, how they speak Spanish different than the Spanish is spoken here, where they have the lith, gracias and all. It hasn't done that. This is like the original Hebrew. So it's just always interesting to me to hear them speak Hebrew, because I realize that's the exact language that David spoke. That's the language that was spoken in Jesus' day. That's what it sounds like. It was just cool. Well, Ben Yehuda was the guy that did that. So they have their main street, Ben Yehuda Street. That's why it's called Ben Yehuda. That's the other direction from the old city of David. And Ben Yehuda is where the locals go. This is where the people of Jerusalem go out at night. Very few of them sit home and watch TV. They walk the streets. You've been around, you know. We're one of the few countries where people kind of hold up and stay home. Most societies, they walk the streets at night. That's what they do. And that's why there's very few panzas anywhere except in our country. But they're walking the streets and they're sitting out and talking, and that's what it is. So Ben Yehuda, you're going to see that. You're going to see just the regular Jewish folks of Jerusalem up and down, walking the streets with their family, with their kids. You're going to see the yarmulke. Everyone knows what a yarmulke is. It's that little covering that the men wear on their heads. They'll have the yarmulkes on, and you can see just Jewish families out enjoying life. It's wonderful. They have fun little stores. The prices are not barterable. Those are the real prices. That's what it is. And it's good quality things. It's a great place to buy souvenirs if you want a souvenir. It's a great place to buy. Because what you get if you have that shirt, you can wash it 20 times, it's still a shirt. And it's a good quality shirt. You're going to pay maybe 15 shekels for it. You won't have the fun of bartering, and if you barter, they'll just look at you and say, we're Jewish. No, this is what we pay. Good quality, you pay for it. So, but it's fun. Again, the ice cream cones, all the stuff. Yes, ma'am?
How do we exchange
Money? Usually we'll take care of it for you at the hotel. You can do it at the hotel very easily. That's the best place. Do not bring traveler's checks. We're going to get into all that in the future. Don't bring traveler's checks. Whatever you do. We leave at 6:30 in the morning. We get back about 5 at night or later, and the banks are closed. And people that say, well, I'm going to bring them because my friend told me to bring them, and I've had people bring $1,000 in traveler's checks, and they came home with $1,000 in traveler's checks. Because you can't cash them. So don't bring traveler's checks. Credit cards work. It works. Cash is still pretty sweet. Cash is pretty sweet. We'll convert it into shekels. You can convert the shekels at the hotel.
How many shekels to a dollar?
Well, I'll let you know when we get closer. I don't know anymore. It changes all the time. But I always, in my mind, I think 2. That's pretty close. That's pretty close. But it varies. Any idea, Howard? You know finance better than me on that. It just goes all over the place. So who knows? $1 a week right now, I think, right? It's stronger. Okay, so maybe it's 3 shekels. Yes. So who knows? We'll see. Little things, we're going to call it, we'll be about done. But anyway, anything on that on that day? Yes, ma'am. Ms. Campbell.
The Dead Sea, why is it, you say it's in 2 parts now. What's in the middle?
This is where they have evaporation pools, and they evaporate just a little bit of the water, and they take all those minerals out and sell them. And it's just gotten more and more and more as they're evaporating. They're really evaporating this. This is shallower than this one. And this is going to eventually, they say, completely disappear. They used to think probably that Sodom and Gomorrah was down in here underneath this. And people would say, well, that's why it's a Dead Sea, because of the brimstone that the Lord rained down, and that's why the Dead Sea's like that. Before we go, what were you saying, Sandy?
3.91.
What is?
Shekels.
Shekels. 4 shekels. Whoa, 4 shekels to a buck. Yeah, nice. So a shekel's like a quarter.
If you trust Google.
Google's good. So, but that's the evaporation pools. What I failed to mention, we got the fresh water in, fresh water out, fresh water in, dead. Nothing living in there. It's just full of these chemicals. What a picture it is of my life and of your life. Fresh water in, we get the Word of God. It comes in, we let it come into our life, and we give it out. And whatever gifts God has given us, comes in, it goes out, fresh, full of life. But if you take in, there's no outlet down here. If we take in fresh water and never give it out, if all we are is coming to church just to get information, we're not living it, we will soon become dead and nothing there. So in the Holy Land, we got this picture. And we got Masada, a picture again. And all of Israel is full of pictures, guys, everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. Remember on our first day of touring, as we go up the coastline, and we go to Caesarea by the sea, and then we go to Mount Carmel, remember, with Elijah. And as we're standing on Mount Carmel, we're looking, and we look across this valley, the Jezreel Valley. We look, there's another hill over there, there's a city up there, and they say, someone's going to ask, what city's that? And they say, that's Nazareth. Wait a minute, what now? Yeah, that's Nazareth right there. Nazareth where Jesus grew up. Yeah, that's right there. And this is the Jezreel Valley. Yeah. And what else is this Jezreel Valley called? Oh, the Valley of Armageddon. This is Armageddon right here? Yeah. You mean so Jesus growing up was looking over Armageddon? You mean when Jesus comes back to Armageddon, he's got home field advantage? Big time? That's his backyard. You don't pick that up on the maps. I look at the maps, I don't see that. You see it once you know, oh, it is, look at that. Those are the things you're going to pick up, little things here and there. You talk about telling a story. You're going to have a story coming out of your ears. It's like all over the place. It's crazy. Because it all makes so much sense. And all of a sudden the Bible is just going, it's at you. It's at you big time. And then you go home. What happens when you go home, Sandra? When you read the Word, what happens?
It is, well, yeah, can't stop talking about it, but it's just exactly what you were saying about, I mean, you read the story and you are taken back to that place. You can see it, you can hear it,
Smell it.
you can smell it. I mean, it's amazing. It's almost like a pop-up book after you come back. Your mind is just right back where you were, and you forget, and you read the story and you're like, that's right, and you go right back to where you were. It's amazing.
Connie, how about you?
Exactly what Sandy said. I mean, it's like the Word of God just, it's never the same anymore. Because like she said, you know, you see it, you smell it, you feel it, you taste it. It's like right there. And you can get into your Word and immediately you're back there.
Pastor Chuck used to tell us, he said, you know, if you're going to be pastoring, if you're going to be teaching the Word of God, you've got to go. So just know you're going to go. So just plan on going, get over there, whatever you have to do, get there. And then he went on at first, when I first started getting associated with the Calvary Chapels, he would say, you know, a trip to Israel is equivalent to about a year of Bible school. About the same. As time went on, he bumped it up. He says, you know, now that the tours are becoming more advanced, they're finding more and more things. So I think it's like 2 years of Bible school. And I would definitely agree with that. It's
amazing.
and if you go or not go, it doesn't affect me. I'm going. I just want you to go because I love you guys. And I'm your pastor, and I want what's best for you. And I know what this will do for you. I know what this will do. And it just drives me crazy. I had the same issue with the school up in Santa Fe. We had this, not a Christian elementary school or a Christian high school. We had a true Christian college prep school. It was a true college prep school. And I knew what it would do for the students that went to it. I knew what it would do for them. And so we would work with the parents and say, look, it's not about money. Forget about money. Do what it takes to get your kids there. And so we just bought this new truck. I said, sell the new truck. Drive an old truck. Invest in your kids, not in a truck. What's wrong with you? And they said, well, you just want our kids. I said, I don't care if your kid goes there or not. For me, my daughter's going there. I just know what it'll do for your daughter, for your son, for your family. And the same is true with Israel. If you go or if you don't go, it doesn't affect me. But I know it'll affect you. I know that. I know this will be life-changing. I know that. I know that. This will change your life. Much more than anything else you can do in this body. I'm convinced of it. It changes your life. It does. And as Sandy and Connie have both been there mentioned, the nice thing about it is when you come home, it's still there. The downside to this, and this is true, and I've had many people tell me this, world travelers, people that travel over the world. They said, Israel, we loved it. They said it was wonderful, but you kind of ruined our vacations. Because we go now to places, and these are people that, we had an archaeologist who traveled all over the world, that's what he did. And he says, you know, you ruined my wife and my trips. So we still go do our job and we enjoy it, but this one had the spiritual significance that Hawaii doesn't have, Papua New Guinea doesn't have, that Africa doesn't have, that Europe doesn't have. There's a spiritual significance here, that when I left, I felt closer to Jesus than I've ever been. And I go to these other trips, and they're wonderful, and there's great food, and we have a great time, and I come home and I said, great, but I don't have that. They said, you ruined my trips. So what they did is we went like, well, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 6 of them there. And a couple of them went every time we went. They told me, we're just going every time. That's just what we're going to do. We're just going to go. So they just did. And I don't know how they swung it, but they always did. They always went. But do what it takes. I'm serious, do what it takes. 4,000 sounds like a lot of money. It's not that much if you're wise. You know, there's little things you can do.
What?
We've had young people go on these trips that barely have a job, but they save up, they make it, they do it. Our last trip, we had a lot of young people on that one. We had people that were 23 and under, probably 6, 7 of them, that they made it. So it can be done. Just be wise. But this is the one time that I would encourage. I don't encourage debt for anybody, so don't do debt. But there are ways you can do it. And if you need some help figuring out ways to do it, I'd love to sit down and tell you what some of the folks have done. It's pretty sweet. Just do it. Just get there. Because it's...
Tamale sale time. Tamale sale time.
Tamale sales, anything. Sell whatever, get it. If you got 2 cars, why? Just have one, get rid of it. There's a trip to Israel. There's all kinds of stuff you can do. You can sell, you're not gonna need a car when you're in Israel, sell your car, come back and buy when you get home. Sell your car, there's your money go. I mean, there's all kinds of things you can do. But just do what it takes. Do what it takes, just figure out a way to get there. You need to get there, you really do. If you have to work another job, work another job. Whatever it takes, do it. Just get there, it's worth it. If you know friends and family that are thinking, and this always happens every tour, for whatever reason, I promise you there's going to be a financial crisis. And it's going to be, you know, it might be $400 for someone. For you, say $400, come on, but for them, that's the world. And I'm going to take the money. Encourage them not to. Don't take the money. Keep the money in there. Just keep adding to it. If you don't go this time, keep adding to it. We'll go again. Just keep it in there and just keep adding to it. Eventually it'll be there. So just don't pull the money out. Don't pull the money out. That's a mistake. Don't do it. All right? Got it? Yes, ma'am.
How much more money, other than for souvenirs, does one need over and above what
we're going to get very detailed on that as we get closer, but as an estimate,
Couple of thousand.
not even. You can. There are some people, you know, we've had people, very wealthy people, and they drop 20,000, 30,000 over in Israel. But they go to the diamond factories and they buy a brand new diamond, you know, and it's like, okay. We've had, you know, Santa Fe was full of wealthy people, a lot of wealthy people, and that was nothing. Oh, I want to get that. They just did. That's fine. That's good. We're not going to say, oh, it's crazy. No, good for you. Enjoy your diamond. That's awesome. I don't bring much because I don't buy anything. I don't anymore. I've been there. But if you're a souvenir buyer, you can get really nice souvenirs. They'll probably cost you a couple $100, probably, for some of the jewelry. Nice things. Other things will be very inexpensive. You get a fun souvenir for maybe $20, and it'll last a lifetime. Nice souvenirs. You're going to want to buy ice cream. That's going to be a big one. It's going to be hot. Ice cream is good there. It's really hot, and ice cream is really good. So ice cream you're going to want. You're going to want drinks, and you probably end up buying about 4 lunches on your own, or maybe 5. Most of the people don't buy lunches. We provide lunches. I think we provide 4 or 5 lunches on this trip. A lot of people, what I do is you have this unbelievably fantastic breakfast, huge breakfast. You have a huge supper. What I do is I just grab some cheese, some fruit off the buffet, a couple of big old buns, put them in a napkin, stick them in my pocket, I'm good to go. And throughout the day, I just make myself a little cheese sandwich, have some fruit, and life is good. And a lot of times in the Galilee, especially, we're out there, where there is no place to buy food. You're out there. In Jerusalem, there is. Realize you can't get a cheeseburger in Jerusalem. I'm sure you know that. Not kosher. Can't mix meat and cheese, milk. So you can't do that.
There's a McDonald's there.
There's McDonald's, but don't. Oh, where's your cheeseburger? No. No cheeseburger. So you can have a burger, or you can have a cheese sandwich. But if they sell a cheese sandwich, they won't sell meat at that restaurant.
Wow.
So you have to go to another restaurant You know, that's just what it is, just adapting to their culture a little bit. But we're gonna go into all that in depth. I would say, Ms. Campbell, it'd be safe if you brought $500, you'd have a really nice time, a really nice time.
I just wanted the ballpark figure.
Yeah, that'd be a nice time, you'll probably come home with some money. You wouldn't have to, you could spend a lot more on that easy. But if you had 500, you're not gonna go without anything. The trip includes everything. You could actually go with no money and come back, and you wouldn't miss out on anything except souvenirs. Because everything's covered. Even when you get baptized, they charge you $2 for the towel. That's included in your tour price. So look, here's your towel, it's covered. So everything is just covered for you. So you don't need money, it's just whatever you want to spend it on. You know, so it's hard to say. But yeah, you bring some money with you, so you have some of it. But people do spend money. Every tour there's some spenders usually. Our last tour was the cheapest tour I think I was ever on. I don't think we had anybody spend much money. A couple people did a little bit of quiet things. I don't think I spent more than a couple thousand, I think was the most. And, you know, that's fine. If you've got that money, you want to spend it, spend it. Don't ever be embarrassed to spend money. You're in Israel, for crying out loud. One of the things that I've stopped doing, so you're aware of it, unless it's something you want to do, I can arrange for it when we're in the Galilee. Israel diamond cutters are known around the world. They're very good. And when we're up in the Galilee, there's a diamond factory. They bring the diamonds in from South Africa, and they cut them there, and they sell them there, and you can get all these wonderfully, really good diamonds. I used to make that one of the tours so you could see the Israeli diamond factory. And it was just so hard on so many of the people. We'd have young couples going, we had tours of 50, 60, 70 people. There'd be young couples just getting married, and they're all excited, and they would go there, and they'd be going with people who had a lot of money. And there'd be doctors and, you know, these very wealthy folks. And they'd say, oh, baby, I'm gonna get this diamond for you, we're gonna get a new. And then it would come to this young couple, and I'd watch them. Oh, I love you, baby. I think if we have our credit card, we could, it's only $12,000. And I'm like, I'm trying to, your love is not measured if you go into huge debt on that diamond.
Yeah.
Realize that. But we're in Israel. Yeah, you are. And your love isn't measured on that diamond, you know, it's calm down. So it's so easy to get emotionally, and I can't tell you what to spend money on. You're gonna have to do that. That's gonna be you. So I stopped going to the diamond factory because I just found too many people getting caught up in the diamond. I'm in Israel, and it just happens. So I don't go there. I've had a couple of people say, we want to buy, if you are one of those, we want to buy diamonds, I can easily arrange for you on a night up in the Galilee from the kibbutz there. No one will even know. And we can arrange for you, and they'll take those that want to go, hop in the car, go over. Buy your diamond. If you buy it, you're going to be excited, but don't flaunt it. Don't say, look what we got. My husband loves me so much. I'll get a $47,000 diamond. Don't do that. Just calm down. Just, that's your little gift. That's awesome. Don't be doing it. Don't be doing it. So, just so you're aware of that. Now, the other thing, do any of you here not swim? Okay, put that hand up, girl. Put that hand up. My wife's from Florida. She doesn't swim.
Florida.
There you go. That's my girl. That's my girl. So, we're going to be at the Sea of Galilee. We're going to be at the Sea of Galilee. And it's beautiful. It's fresh water. It's a lake. It's a beautiful lake. I was at the Sea of Galilee. I was talking to Gary Johnson, my daughter from Dallas, Christy, our son-in-law, Brian. I think it was the four of us. We're in water about this deep. The waves are pretty strong waves. We have a bunch of young people out here swimming behind me. I hear that. They're out there swimming. You hear them swimming, and there's a buoy maybe 40 yards further out. But the waves are coming in. They're pretty good waves. It's like, whoa, kind of choppy here today. We're sitting there talking, and just, can you believe we're in the Sea of Galilee? This is amazing. Jesus walked. This is great. And we're just out here talking, and all of a sudden I look, and there's my wife. She does not swim. And she's out there dog paddling, coming towards me. Baby, what are you doing? I'm in the Sea of Galilee. You don't swim. God would never let me drown in the Sea of Galilee. Yes, He will. They say more people drown in the Sea of Galilee every year, tourists, that very thing. That Sea of Galilee, I'm going to go in. And they just get fired up. Oh, baby, get over here, man. It's like, okay, here we go. So we're there, and all of a sudden I hear this coughing and choking behind me. A ways away, and I look, it's one of our kids. And I say kids, she was like 24, 23 at the time. Not the best swimmer. The group all went off that buoy. I can make it to the buoy. It's probably 30 feet deep up there. So she swims out there to it, grabs this rope. barely made it, grabs the rope against the waves, and it's just plastic, it just sinks, doesn't hold her.
Oh my God.
So she turns around panicked because she is now maybe 1/8 of a mile from shore. The waves, and she's exhausted. She starts to swim, she starts choking and crying and choking and crying, and they're trying to help her out there, and she's hurting bad, hurting bad. She made it. Stan's oldest daughter, Stan and Lisa's oldest daughter.
Wow.
Grabbed her hand, I saw her got out there too, grabbed her hand, grabbed her on here, got her in. But gotta be wise. That's a lake. If you don't swim, don't go much deeper than waist, that's plenty. You don't, it's still Sea of Galilee, but it's water. But if you don't swim, go in the Sea of Galilee. You're at the Sea of Galilee. So bring a swimsuit, go out there, stick your feet in there, and enjoy it. It's like, this is great, we're in the Sea of Galilee, but don't go out to the buoy. Not necessary, not necessary. Those are common sense things, but you get excited because you're there. You are there, man. You know, it's amazing. I cannot believe what goes through you every time you go. The other thing I want to encourage you to go, and we'll talk a lot more about this as we get closer. In Jerusalem, it's nightlife. It's really fun. You still get up early in the morning, but sleep is very expensive in Israel. You spend a lot of money to get there, don't spend it sleeping. So, you know, it's expensive there. So enjoy the nightlife in Jerusalem. In the Galilee, except for Tiberias, there is a lot to do at night. Go to bed, get rest. We're just going to be dealing, that's why we go there first in the Galilee, because we're going to be dealing with jet lag. So your sleep pattern's going to be a little bit messed up. Get some good rest, but then get up in the morning. I cannot tell you the benefit of that. Connie, you can talk about that in the Galilee in the mornings. What's that like?
Early mornings, well, the Galilee itself is just amazing. But what we did is we got up early in the morning. I don't even remember what time, maybe 5:30 or something like that. And you have your room, there's probably about, I don't know, maybe 30 feet from where we were to the actual sea. And they have these little hammocks there, and they have little chairs there. So we'd get up every morning, and we'd have our quiet time sitting right on the Sea of Galilee. I mean, the water is just right there. And, you know, when you're reading scripture, and you're reading about the birds in the air, and you look up, and there's all these birds, and you hear the birds, and you see the birds just flying about, and the Bible just opens itself up to you. And so it's so amazing out there because, you know, you can see across, and there's Tiberias, and there's Capernaum, and there's all the cities, and you think about it, and this is where Jesus was. This is where his ministry was. So you're sitting right there on the very ground where Jesus spent his ministry. And it's just crazy. It's mind-boggling. Mind-boggling.
One of the fun things too that we'll see where we stay there is it's a kibbutz. We'll spend one day talking about the kibbutzim in Israel, what they are now. And when we stay at a kibbutz, it's pretty sweet. But just north of the kibbutz that we stay on, the Sea of Galilee, and I mean less than 1/4 of a mile north, just like from where we are now to Comanche, just right over there, is a place that the Bible talks about. It talks about the land of the Gadarenes. And in Luke chapter 5, remember Jesus goes across the sea, or the Sea of Galilee, and he gets out and those 2 demoniacs come up. Remember they are going crazy and all that, and he casts the demons out of them into that herd of pigs. Mm-hmm. And the pigs go over the water. Well, when you're at the Sea of Galilee and you look at the Sea of Galilee, it's just, there's only one place on the entire Sea of Galilee where there's a cliff going into the sea. Only one place. Not here, not here, not here, not here, not here, not here. We stay here. Right here's a cliff. And then up here are caves for burial. And you read that and it says that he lived amongst the tombs. And then the pigs get filled with these demons and they run off the cliff and they go into the sea. And you see it. And you go, well, he was right here. And we're staying right there. It's like, what? This is the place. We're in the land of the Gadarenes. Check it out. This is the land. The pigs are in that water. And it's like pretty cool. So things like that happen. So then when you read that later and you study that and you read it, you go, I know right where that is. Oh my goodness, that's right there. And those are the things that will start happening to you. It's just, it's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. Next week, I want to encourage you to be here, and I want to encourage you to bring other people here. If anybody's thinking about it, make sure you're here next week. My son-in-law, Brian, who's co-leading with me, will be here. So I'm going to have him kind of share some stuff with you. Brian helped me co-lead our last trip. How was it, Sandy, watching Brian?
Oh my gosh, he's such a gifted teacher. So much fun. Yes, I was very pleasantly surprised by all that he did. It was really awesome.
Yeah, it's good.
It was very good.
I hate to say that because it's my son-in-law. Of course I'm going to brag on him, but
Yeah.
he's the brightest person I've ever met. For me personally, I've never met anybody with a brighter IQ or mind than my son-in-law. It's like, what? Christy, how do you find this dude? He's a really smart dude. And
he's fun.
he's just a crazy
You
dude.
know, he's not.
So it'll be fun. So you get a chance to meet him next week and bring other folks too. And I'm going to have him do Israel 101, and so you guys get a chance to see him. And he doesn't know it yet, so I said, Brian, give us on this. He goes, well, thanks for the heads up, but he'll be fine. He'll be fine. He can teach anything on the spot. So yes, ma'am, Monica.
So will that mean we have, on extra classes, will we still have class on the 25th or next week? Because you said the first, second, and last.
Is this the
Sunday.
second? Is this the second?
No, this is the first. Oh,
First?
this is, oh,
This is
wait.
the first.
This is the first.
First,
Okay.
second, and last.
Okay.
So yeah, next week we'll be doing it.
Sorry, I don't
And that doesn't
know.
count for Monica. Monica's extremely bright, but she's really sick, so she's not.
I got my
We'll cut you
calendar
slack on
confused.
that, Monica. It's okay. It's okay.
Forgive me, sorry.
Well, guys, thanks for joining us today in Israel 101. This is us, and we'll see you next week. And again, Brian will be here next week. You get a chance to meet him. I'll introduce you to them all, and I'll introduce you all to him, and we'll go from there. God bless you guys. Thanks for being here.
He gets me fired up every
It's really hot in here,
time
isn't it?
I come to this class.
You going,
I hope so. I mean, I'm trying. We can get the finances, we're there. We're gonna go every single time they're playing music we can afford it. Every single time.